GYP You Decide Forum. I'd like to start off by thanking our Be Influential Subcommittee Chair, Mike Gatewood, the You Decide Planning Committee, and the Chamber staff for putting this together. I would also like to thank our annual sponsors, Docomo Pacific, RS Plus, First Hawaiian Bank, AFC Trust Corporation, and the Bank of Guam. We are so pleased to have 22 candidates for the 34th Guam Legislature present. Candidates, thank you for taking the time to meet with Guam's Young Professionals to discuss important issues facing our island. We look forward to hearing your platforms and your views with issues facing our island like minimum wage, pay raises, and workers' visas, just to name a few. GYP members, take this opportunity to understand each candidate's position so that you can make an educated vote. We are also fortunate to have the Guam Election Commission here today. So if you aren't registered to vote, please take a few minutes with them outside so that your voice can be heard on November 8th. Today our forum will be moderated by Logan Regis. Time permitting, we will open the floor up for any questions you may have at the end. So please take notes and don't be shy to ask the question you want answers to. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Logan to begin the forum. Thank you.
Off-a-day. Love that sound and cadence. I love hearing off-a-day also. So I'm just going to go through a quick rundown of the meeting format for the candidates, again, as a reminder, and for the audience in attendance, okay? So today's You Decide Forum will provide senatorial candidates the opportunity to share their positions on pre-developed topics and questions with the GYP membership and guests. The meeting will begin with a 1-minute introduction by each of the candidates in the order that they are seated, one on down. Questions were solicited from the GYP membership, consolidated, and posed to all the candidates. The questions asked in today's forum will be based off of those same topics. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to fill a response to the questions posed. Time permitting, the moderator, me, will post questions submitted by today's attendees. You should have paper and pen on your table, and just flag down one of the chamber staff or pass it on to us in the front for the question and answer section at the end, time permitting. The audience is asked to refrain from applause so that each candidate will have the opportunity to fully respond to each question within the allotted time. With that, let's begin. I kindly ask the candidates to make their way to the front table. Just make sure these are working. I'd like to also just recognize the other members helping out today will also be co-moderating with me, Attorney Mars Johnson, our timekeeper, Mr. Eric Westin, and Mr. Nate Tyler. So, candidates, while giving your responses, please be mindful of the time, and we'll actually tell you how much time you have based on the signage we have up here. And at the end of your allotted time, you'll hear a bell. All right, let's begin. Hey, Did Speaker one have to go already?
Just getting water.
Okay. So I guess we'll actually get started if that's all right. And we'll...
Start at 15.
Oh, no. She's here. No problem. All right, we're going to start with our introductions by each of the candidates. You have 1 minute for your introduction.
Why people should vote for me?
On why the Guam Young Professionals should vote for you.
Thank you very much. Buenas and half a day. I am Judith Wanpat. I basically want to be your voice, be the voice to the voiceless. I pledge meritocracy for deserving and eligible people and transparency. You should want improvement as well as change. Our politicians must have experience and good academic background. I have a doctorate in educational leadership and a master's degree in guidance and counseling. I am sure I won't get everything right. No one can. I will use all of my knowledge that I've acquired from my experiences and all the strength I have to make them a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Senator Marcus Nicholas.
Thank you. Good morning to the Guam Young Professionals. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us here today. And thank you all for being here. I know that there's a lot of other things we could be doing during this time, but we're all here to not only listen to the candidates, but to listen to each other about what we need to start doing for our community and what we need to start focusing on. This is going to be my third term running, and in the first 2 terms, I've learned a lot. I've learned what's really happening and what's kind of not happening, and I've come to certain conclusions over the last term. And that is that we need to really take a very strong position on where we stand with respect to the finances of our government, how we manage the people's money, and whether or not we're going to be investing for the growth of our future, or whether we're going to continue to kite the operations of our government on the back of debt. We've been doing it for so many years. It's no fault of any single administration, but it needs to stop. If we're going to begin investing in our future, we need to begin doing so now. And that's one of the things that I want to start focusing on as one of your senators, if you give me another chance to work for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Luis Munoz.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Logan. My name is Louise Borja Muña, and thank you very much to the Guam Young Professionals for inviting me here today. Very closely related to Raina and David Letty, and I'm sure they'd be very, very proud of you today here, so thank you very much for upkeeping their dreams. I, in a nutshell, really quickly, joined the music industry 30 years ago, sole proprietorship for Generations Production that produced 4 albums. Also led me to the radio and TV industry, which I became the program director and station manager for 105 The Cat. I also helped create a local TV programming called My Story, which is a local program that interviews cancer patients. Now this led me to one of my very big passions that I hope to start up in the legislature. My first legislation would be the Cancer Prevention Act of 2017. I'm also a certified aerobic instructor, and I currently teach at ISC as a cycling instructor, and I'm a big volunteer, part of the Executive Board of Make-A-Wish Foundation as the secretary. The Guam Young Professional should vote for me because I have a voice and I'm not afraid to speak. I'm also a very good listener, and as well an opportunity for you to vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Senator Jim Oswald.
My name is James Albert Anthony Mercader Durata Espaldon. All right. Call me Jim. Why should you vote for me? Actually, I'm not going to answer that directly, but I'll let you make your own decisions. You know, in the coming years, in the next few years, we're going to see a major transformation in our community. We have the pending military buildup that's coming. We see an expansion in our economy. We see investors coming in. And with all this activity and this transformation, these changes, there's no doubt that there are going to be stresses upon the very fabric of our community. And so the way I look at it is we need people who are level-headed. We need people who have the mental capacity to be able to understand what's happening, to be able to examine the details and understand the details and how it affects policy. And also we need people who have that real passion to really do what's right. I offer myself to you. I bring those abilities to the table. I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Albert J. Balhaja, AJ.
Another Albert. My name is Albert John Balahaja. Most of you know me as AJ, the former spokesperson for the Guam Police Department. So, with that said, why should you vote for me? Why should a young professional vote for me? Well, if I'm elected senator, I would seek advice from the Chamber of Commerce and work with you in regards to any legislation that would affect our economic growth and how that legislation would come across in our community and our region. I do recognize the economic and social importance of the young professionals and them being engaged in the current situations that are going on in our island. I truly believe that young professionals should have a voice in our future, and if elected senator, you will have that voice. You will have a seat at my table. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Nerissa Underwood.
Thank you very much. I am a freshman senator, and before this, I was superintendent of education, administrator of DOE, a teacher, a mother, a grandmother. I also served as a sales clerk, a stock girl, and a credit clerk. I have learned quite a bit in this first couple of years. It takes courage and commitment, ladies and gentlemen, to provide leadership. It takes courage for you to be able to stand up just on your own when you have a bill and no one else would support it. It takes commitment for you to follow through. So I ran on this belief that when we provide equal opportunity and fair treatment, we can have a successful Guam. So I authored a couple of bills that became law. I authored the First Generation Initiative, so all public school students will have funds to go to school, GCC or UOG. The Marriage Equality Bill, also the bill that would provide special needs people to register online. Thank you.
Thank you. Jose Sanagzi.
Guam Young Professionals, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. My name is Jose Apodi San Augustine. I'm not going to ask you to give me a chance. I'm just going to ask you to put me to work. Get me in there and let me do the job. I served in the Marine Corps for 30 years. I retired in 2009. Came back to Guam because I loved my island. Public safety is a priority, education is a priority, medical is a priority, but ladies and gentlemen, we cannot forget the other things that continue to deplete our resources on Guam. And that's the invasive species as far as that, the animals are concerned, which you're very familiar to the rhino beetle and the snakes, but also invasive plants that continue to come to make its way into the island and deplete our resources, our food sources. The coconut trees, one for example. And that's one of the items that's on my platform. Second is I think we need to pursue island sustainability in the form of agriculture. We should be able to grow our own food here in Guam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Fred Borgallo, Jr.
Buenas and Hafade. Thank you for inviting me, Guam Young Professionals. My name is Freddie Borgallo, Jr. They know me as retired chief of police for the Guam Police Department. You know, my platform is good government, and I'm asking for your vote because, you know, what's going to happen in the next 2 years? I'm thinking of economic prosperity and security integrated together. Safe schools, safe neighborhoods, safe communities. People have those concerns when I talk to them in the campaign. What about what's the situation in terms of the finances of government, the kind of decisions that are going to have to be made? I offer you my candidacy of extensive experience in education. I'm a Triton from the University of Guam Public Administration, the Naval Postgraduate School, University of Oklahoma's Human Relations Program, but I have extensive experience in sitting in nonprofit organizations and the military, in the Marine Corps, Navy Reserves, Army Reserves. So I've been in different branches of services and the private sector. I bring that to the legislature. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Joe S. Sanagzi.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Sims of San Augustine. I'm a retired Army. I'm the other San Augustine versus Jose. I'm a retired Army. I'm a former police officer. I was a former chairman of the Guam Education Policy Board. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to the table, number one, it's not about the easy way, but the right way. The young professionals today need the opportunity to be able to expand. and we need to protect them and the future young professionals. And I'm number 8 on the ballot. Please vote for me on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. William Castro.
Special thanks to the GYP for having me here this afternoon. I continue standing, and this is as good as it gets. So, my name is Will Castro. I'm number 5 on the Republican ballot. I'm the son of a customs officer and a full-time homemaker. I'm running for 2 reasons. Number 1, like many of you, I really believe we need a crop of senators or representatives who's going to be dynamic, responsive, engaged, closer to the ideas and the passions that you share. The second reason is I really believe I bring something to the table by way of education and experience. Like almost everyone in the room, I was raised here. We also went probably to the best schools together, like UOG, the #1 school in the region. I happen to have gone off on it for a very short amount of time on the East Coast. But not all the education and the experience is enough. I really think it's time that we not just take a paradigm shift, but a permanent shift from the sage on the stage to those who are compassionate and engaged to make a difference. I serve the late Senator Angel Santos, and in his likeness, I too would like to become engaged and open up my mobile office. My name is Will Castro. Thank you, and God bless the GYP.
Thank you, sir. Fernando Estes.
Afide, Fernando Barcinas Esteves, thank you for having me and the other candidates up here today. A little bit about me, small business owner that I started. I'm also a disabled combat veteran. I'm a lot of things like many of you, and I could go, we all have a laundry list, so I'm just gonna get straight to the point. I'm running here to serve you, and you should vote for me because I'm the only one who brings real working experience in medical care. My plan for the government and the priority of my platform is to limit consecutive terms and bring an end to nepotism within the government. It's time. We can't talk about the future and all of the things we want to do if we have a government that we can't trust. Self-determination, economic growth, all of these things revert back to what should be the most trusted and most professional organization that we have on the island. So I'm going to bring an end to that. So please vote for me, number 7 on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Selena Nelson.
Hafade, good afternoon. My name is Selena Nelson. Thank you, GYP, for hosting this forum. I don't like to say why you should vote for me, but I humbly ask for your help. And the reason why I feel that we share something most fundamental, it's a very fundamental principle. If we look around this room, our generation has come up. We're lawyers, educators, managers, financiers, bankers, and every job that is held, all of you have done a great deal of service. And we believe in this principle of service. We are not the generation to stand idly by and to see people that we can help suffer. We want to help those and we want to serve those so that they can also enjoy the gifts that we do. We don't look for this bourgeois life. It's not enough for us. We know that contentment does not last in the resolve of being comfortable in ourselves. But we know that sacrifice and service is what brings us this contentment. It's what brings us wholeness in our life. And we will not waste our gifts that God has given us only for ourselves. We reach out for those. So I humbly ask for your support so we can help others in Guam. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Mary Torres.
Hafade, my name is Mary Camacho Torres. I am serving my first term in the 33rd Guam Legislature. I've known a lot of the issues that many of you face, working in the government, running a private business for 15 years, managing the agencies in the government, but also being the mother of 3 young professionals myself, nurturing them, giving them the tools, and ensuring that what they do and what we do for their 8 children, and I have a 9th coming next year, that what we do as policymakers is sound and responsive to the true needs of our government. We need leaders that get it. I believe I get it. I have the background, I have the experiences in service all my life. I was nurtured in an environment of service, of public service. This is what makes my fabric. I humbly ask for your support because I will continue to do the right thing no matter what. Si Duas Mahasi.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr.
Hafade, good afternoon to all of you. My name is Dennis Rodriguez Jr. I'm just like one of you. I'm still within the Guam Young Professionals age range. I'm 38 years old. And so I'm asking again, I'm serving my 3rd term. It's going to be my 5.5 years in serving the people of Guam, and I want to thank you for that opportunity. The decisions and actions that I've made over the years is really based on you, our people. Knowing that I'm 38, some of you are a little bit older than me or younger than me, the decisions we make today is what's going to affect us when it's time for us to retire, when it's time for our kids to be where we're at today. And so that has been the center of my work and the decisions and actions that I do. And I want to continue doing that because I look out for not just my children, but for your children and their children. And so I'm asking you on November 8th to please give me another opportunity and vote for me on number 1 on the ballot. Thank you,
Senator. Senator Tom Atta.
Thank you very much. I'm Tom Atta, and to the question of why should young professionals like you vote for an old professional like me, I would simply say, remember that Tom Atta has pep. I am productive. Back there are my brochures, which shows a sample of the work that I've done in the legislature. I am experienced. I bring experience to the table, which gives me a good appreciation for how public policy is made. And I am a proven entity, because this will be my 9th election that I'll be coming up for. Now, the one focal point that I will focus on during this election is bringing affordable homes to young people. And from there, that tentacle just reaches out to road infrastructure, power utilities, our ports of entry, but that's where everything begins, is putting people into that basic need of shelter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Eric Palacios.
Buenas noches. My name is Eric Mantanonio Palacios. I was 35 years old when I was first appointed to the Guam EP as your administrator. In the better part of the last 5 years, I truly have grown to love the job of protecting our environment. But it also opened up my eyes and it made me realize that I'd like to serve our island and help contribute with good policy and initiatives in other areas. And so that's really the focus of why I'm running environment. Protecting the environment is the main component, but there are subcomponents that I'd like to focus on, like illegal dumping, safe drinking water, and economic prosperity, straddling that very fine line between protecting our environment and nurturing our tourism industry at the same time. So I humbly ask for your vote of confidence and number 9 on the Republican side of the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Regine Lee.
Hafide and magandang umaga. I'm Regine Bisco Lee, and I'm running for senator to promote strong families and a strong Guam. I'm looking forward to sharing my ideas and experience as a policy advisor both here locally and in Washington, D.C. I spent some time on Capitol Hill. As well as a community advocate, I fought for veterans, I fought for access to healthcare and education, as well as programs that help our youth and families. I also want to use my experience as a small business owner to assist with marketing and communications and using my skills to help other small businesses grow and thrive on our island. I'm committed to taking a comprehensive, big picture approach to some of our long-standing issues and really focusing on providing short and long-term solutions to a lot of these issues. Again, I'm Regine Bisco Lee. I'm number 15 on the Democratic side of the ballot, and as a fellow young professional, I humbly ask for your vote. Tujuswasi.
Thank you, Regine. Jermaine Alerta.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jermaine Alerta. I'm the youngest Democrat candidate here. So 10 years ago, our government of Guam spent $500 million on its budget. The most recent one was $900 million. That's almost double. But when you spend more, you expect more. But we still have broken roads, we still have an ailing hospital, we still have problems in our schools. And I'm one of the younger ones, but there's a lot of people up on this dais that have been a part of leadership positions in the last 10 years, both elected and appointed. And we still have these problems, and they were the ones making the decisions. So why should you vote for me? Well, I'm a young, fresh face, a new mindset. I do have experience in the government for the last 13 years, working in both the legislative and executive branches. And I think the people of Guam are frustrated with the kind of services they're getting, and they're looking to new people, new ideas, because the old way is not working. We still have those problems. So I'm asking that you give me a chance to serve you in the legislature, and hopefully we can infuse new ideas and make things better for everyone. I'm Jermaine Alerta, and I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Teresa Wahi.
Hafide, I want to thank the Guam Young Professionals for recognizing that in this educational effort that this election really is very critical for Guam. It's critical for quality of life for our families, and it's critical for whether our businesses will be able to thrive, what we do or do not do in the next couple of years. I believe that is critical. I think you believe that too. And I've spent 20 years of my life dedicated to helping families, helping individuals as an attorney. And I've worked with many of them. I've worked with many small businesses to find solutions. I've worked with government agencies, the legislature, and I've had the honor of working with some of Guam's greatest leaders. I've seen their struggle to better serve the people of Guam. I've seen what they've tried, what did not work. I've seen a lot of that, and I bring my skills and my experience, and I've also bring my experience as a professor at the University of Guam. I know that the younger generation does not see Guam necessarily as a place to bring its family back, and I want it to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Brent McCready.
Thank you very much. My biggest job and my biggest priority is being a father and husband. So I take that into the legislature, and that's how I legislate. My second biggest priority is making sure that we lead young professionals, and I do that very proudly. We as senators and candidates would not be successful without the people around us. That's very important to know. I have the youngest senior policy advisor, which she, Ricky Orsi, please stand up, is a female, and the youngest chief of staff, which is Sixto Quintanilla. They're all young professionals, and they work in my office, and I thank my colleagues on the other side because I got them from them. So we all work together, and these guys now have a proven record. Thus far, we have the most bills introduced, the most bills passed, and the most bills signed into law in our minority with the smallest staff and the third and second least amount of money spent. So ladies and gentlemen, one thing good about being a senator is you have something to stand on, and I do have something to stand on and be very proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Senator Tommy Morrison.
Afternoon, good afternoon. I thank you all for the opportunity to be part of this GYP forum. Why should a young professional vote for me? And I have to think about that question because I remember I was here 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and I think that question popped up. I spent the past 2 terms as a husband and a father of a very young family, and having the same hopes and dreams that many of you have in what you will see the future of Guam in the next 5, 10, 15 years from now. And that's why I've continued to deliver on the commitments I've made in my first term to deliver and create opportunities for our youth and our families, to provide resources to develop opportunities for our children to be engaged in fun, safe, and healthy communities. I also worked very hard to promote in advancing our governments, in advancing our services using IT, or using technology, creating the office of technology. So I look forward to continuing to deliver on these commitments going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Well, that's an bell ringer. Senator Tina Mooney Barnes.
Hot day, Sizos Masi to the Guam Young Professionals for giving us the opportunity. I've been your public servant for 6 terms. I've been your public servant for 34 years. I have oversight chair of municipal affairs, tourism, housing, and Guam preservation. We've captured new revenues coming in to the point of $2 to $3 million with the bed and breakfast and short-term vacation stays. I want to continue to do more. I want to look at new opportunities with the home porting, a cruise, small cruise liner here on Guam. I'm a good listener. As a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother, I want to share with you that I have the passion, I have the heart, and I want to continue to serve. Please remember me. I'm number 12 on the Democrat side, but after this election, we are here for our island people.
Thank you, Senator. Amanda Bloss.
Half a day, everyone. My name is Amanda Bloss, and I'm your youngest candidate. And when I look around this room, I see the future of our private and public sector. And I see people who, like me, want to provide new opportunities for our island. And that's my vision for Guam. I want to expand the number of industries we have to help our economy foster. I also want to help promote our #1 industry right now, tourism. And that's primarily by looking at a charter school dedicated to hospitality so that we can better train our people. That means our children, our grandchildren, and generations to come. So I'm humbly asking for your vote as number 15 on the Republican ballot, Let me work with you to provide new opportunities for our island. Let me provide new opportunities for everybody with your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chris Duenas.
Holiday, and thank you to the GYP membership for this opportunity today. I have 16 years in the private sector of experience in the tourism industry. I've also been fortunate to serve 2 administrations in executive level positions, and I've had 2 terms in the legislature. So I think the unique ability to understand the private sector and also working in the public sector makes me uniquely qualified to serve the people of Guam. My signature piece of legislation, along with others when I was a senator, was the Invasive Species Council, and now the Invasive Species Fund that is bringing in funds to fight our invasive species and what's destroying our island. Like you, I know it takes focus in order to serve in the legislature. So if I'm fortunate to serve in the 34th Guam Legislature, I will concentrate and initiate an initiative called the Respeto Itano Initiative of 2017. That will be an initiative to ensure that every household on Guam has free or affordable rollout trash service so we can finally clean up our island and make sure we don't have these illegal dumps and trash all over our island. That's what I'll do as a senator to focus along with other issues. Look forward to talking about this today. Thank you, and to Jules Masi.
Thank you, sir. Benito Servino.
Today, thank you for having me here today. People know me as Ben Servino. I currently serve as the director for DISIT, the disability agency here in Guam. I actually have over 38 years of public service, 10 years for the federal government, 10 years for the state of California when I retired, and then another 18 years for the government of Guam. My platform is basically to serve as the voice of the most vulnerable, children, early childhood population, the youth, the people with disabilities, the elderly, and our alien veterans. I want to focus on systems of care and how the government services can be better coordinated and implement the no wrong door system. So that again, this array of services are available, and implement the online emergency registry for people with disabilities. I hope that Guam can be the #1 tourist destination for people with disabilities so we can build our economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll now move on to the question session, and each of the senators picked the number out of a bowl, and they were assigned randomly. So these questions are completely random, but all the senators were provided, or I'm sorry, all the candidates were provided with the questions prior to, okay? So, number 6, Narissa Underwood, Senator Narissa Underwood. What would your top priority be if elected? You have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer.
Thank you for that question. So my top priority when I'm elected would be to grow our economy by growing our young people. I want to continue to work towards closing the gap between the world of work and the world of education through articulated and coordinated efforts between GDOE, GCC, and UOG to help prepare our young people for self-sufficient island and also the economy. I also want to make sure that the educational institutions are financially supported. Right now, this is the way it works. It's like they are a family that has a paycheck that is due to them. But come payday time, they're only given a portion of that. So our educators who are supposed to be preparing our young professionals, our young generation for the world of work are spending a lot of time trying to figure out whether they're going to pay utilities or they're going to pay the salaries of the employees. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to support the educational institutions, and that will be my priority, because to have a strong economy, you must have strong professionals and a working group that will be able to support our businesses. Thank you very much.
I'll give you 20 seconds. Why, year after year, when the budget is passed, are the schools underfunded?
Well, the schools, I believe, are funded adequately based on what we provide for them and in light of what the other needs are of our community. But the problem is in the cash releases. They are not getting the cash. The management of the cash for our government is a problem. So the legislature has actually provided an adequate funding.
Okay, thank you very much. Teresa Terlahi, same question. What would be your top priority if elected?
Well, one of the first things that I think the government of Guam can benefit from is, and the people of Guam, even more importantly, can benefit from, is that all the information in the government of Guam has to be out there. You have to be able to utilize that in your businesses. We shouldn't have to go through all the bureaucracy, red tape, just to find out what the information the government already has. And I think this helps, of course, run the government of Guam because it makes it transparent. And everything it does, the contracts that it enters into, the money that it's spending, but more importantly, yeah, the studies that they've done, those should be available to all of us. I think what I've seen in the recently is that it's really been very difficult, even for government, to find out what is being done in the government. The legislature in particular has had a very hard time getting the information from government agencies, and I just think there's really no use for that in our government.
Mr. Alaki, how do you propose to do that?
Oh, I think, of course, right now we have on the books of FOIA. FOIA is our last resort. It takes time to get FOIA. We FOIA the government and we wait for their response. I just think we have some laws that have mandated government agencies to put information online, but it has all kinds of loopholes. So to do this, I think we have to make sure there are no loopholes and make sure that they have no excuse. Sometimes their excuses are, we don't have the technology, we don't have the funding, and I just can't see in this day and age that there is any excuse for not putting everything online that the people of Guam could benefit from.
All right. Thank you very much. Amanda Bloss, same question. What would your top priority be if elected?
My top priority would be definitely to expand the number of industries on Guam. Right now, we heavily rely on tourism and military spending. And while they're great industries, they're not completely within our control. Tourism depends on whether tourists come by, which could be affected by tourism, natural disasters, things like that. Military spending will change as president, Congress, and the like. I think it's time to embrace the talents of our people. That means really looking at growing an agriculture and aquaculture industry. We have an amazing number of farmers right now, and I think we can see that with one of the GYP members, Melvin Diola, and Farm to Table. I also do believe it's important to continue to support tourism as an industry, and that's the reason I'm proposing a charter school that promotes hospitality. This means training our younger generations to have skills to directly go into the workforce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Senator Mary Torres, same question. What would your top priority be if elected?
If re-elected to be senator, in my first term, I concentrated on legislation that helped improve the quality of life for people. You know, I modernized the voter registration so that more people could practice their civic responsibility. I also modernized maternity leave, made it also equal for, so it wasn't gender specific. And I think what I'd like to do is continue some of these trends where I actually impacted, legislation that had an impact on the everyday individual in Guam. But going forward, what I'd like to focus in on is our environment, because we're now seeing a lot of incidents of contaminants in the water. We know that there's a medical association forum right now going on that has to do with Agent Orange contaminants and other contaminants that really affect the quality of life and the health of our people. So we have to take a closer look at the environment and some of the things that are going to perhaps be an issue with our tourism market going forward. And this I think we can work with very well if we truly have a one Guam approach with our military in addressing some of these environmental issues that maybe permeated way back 70 years ago. And I think also looking at what I've done with the civic responsibilities, I'd like to do a civics program for our children so that our children grow up in an environment where they understand that they have a role in our government process. Thank
you, Senator. Luis Munoz, same question. What would your top priority be?
So being a
part of the My Story creation on Sorensen Media Group gave me an opportunity to talk firsthand with some cancer survivors and warriors. And doing some research in that too with the Public Health, the Cancer Coalition, I come to find that every day there is one person on Guam that is diagnosed with cancer. That's 365 people per year. Every 2.5 days we bury a loved one from cancer. So what I'd like to do as my first priority when I get into the legislature is to create a Cancer Prevention Act of 2017. This will help to develop a collaboration between non-government agencies like Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society and the Edward Calloway Cancer Foundation to work together closely with public health. Also to help develop some funding for, or look for some sources of funding for immunizations that are going to help with preventable cancers such as HPV. This would be one of my first and top priorities is working with government and non-government agencies. Why not? Our people are should be at the top of the priority.
Second priority. You have a lot of time left. What's your second priority?
I'd also like to create some Moms First initiatives. Being a mom of 2 children, my daughter is a recent graduate of St. Mary's College in California. So I'd like to, and my son, he's a junior, I'd like to create some Moms First initiatives because I understand what it's like to be a mom, have a career, care of my kids at the same time. It's not an easy thing. So I'd like to create some Moms First initiatives.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Jose Sonongstein, you spoke on a invasive species. Maybe you could expound on that answer with your top priority.
Well, I will like to, and thank you. I would like to probably skip that and go into, because you didn't give me the opportunity. 1 minute is just too fast. But, you know, I've been listening to the other candidates, and thank you for them being really involved in our environment. But really, my top priority would be our veterans. We talk about young professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned to you all that I served in the Marine Corps for 30 years. I was engaged in the first Gulf War. Each and every family here in Guam have, one way or another, a family member that is a veteran. I want that to be my #1 priority, and here's the reason why. These are the professionals, and many of them are young, that are still out there serving, and ladies and gentlemen, we cannot forget them. Because when they're due, when they've done their time and they come back home, they definitely deserve to be taken care of. I want to be their advocate. I am the administrator of the Guam Veterans Affairs Office, and it is very painful to still see veterans that were involved in Vietnam that has yet to really settle compensation as far as medical is concerned.
Sure.
So my top priority, yes, Rick, what?
What do you propose to do to accomplish this initiative?
Thank you for that question. After being in the Marine Corps for 30 years, I could answer that question, and one way to do it is not to give up. Get me in there and let me be the voice, let me fight. Let me fight for the cause. Because definitely, they did not give up. When I served in Desert Shield, Desert Storm for 9 months, I did not give up. Our young professionals that are out there serving haven't given up. And it's for them, it's reason of them that we enjoy this freedom that we enjoy today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right. This question is for Eric Palacios. What legislation would you propose to foster small business growth?
I think it's important to continue to embrace current or existing small businesses, but maybe with a shift or an emphasis on green initiatives and technologies. I think that there's a tremendous opportunity to expand upon current green waste collection services. I think there's a tremendous opportunity to expand on current recycling services, trash disposal and collection. And so I think that a bill, and it became law recently, where companies get government subsidies. I think while it's praiseworthy, I think more emphasis should have been placed upon residents who cannot afford to properly dispose of their trash and household waste, rather than helping out businesses that for many years, when it was a profitable industry, were raking in millions of dollars, and then continue to try to build them out at this point in time. And I think that's part of the reason why there's a tremendous legal dumping problem. We should help our residents properly dispose of their trash.
How do you propose to do that exactly? What real initiative would you take to help residents properly dispose of their trash?
When I was still with the Guam EPA, I presented a proposal to the current legislature, some members, not all of them. I presented a proposal to the District Court of Guam via the receiver, and in both instances, my ideas were shot down. The government can provide certain subsidies through the recycling revolving fund that currently exists, whether it's to help people up who just recently fell off the system, or help people start up who want to get in the system.
Thank you, sir.